All right, now we are to the last frames. So I've animated my first 6 keyframes from my rough storyboard sketch. It's a good time to run an animation test. So what do? In Photoshop, I go to Window, I click on Timeline. If it's already a frame-by-frame animation, you want frame-by-frame, not the timeline animation. That's more for video editing, right? So frame-by-frame, you're then going to click on the window options for timeline and say make frames from layers. This is from your stage. If you do it from your assets, it will be a huge mess. Then we're going to set the timing. And remember, I made a little screen grab and saved it to my folder right here of the timing. So I did 0.35, 0.35, 0.3, 0.15, 0.15. So that will be my finished timing, but for now I'm just going to make everything 0.3. Just to play it and just to see. And it can help to hit Tab so you don't get distracted by the moving frames at the bottom. And my eye is mostly just watching those clouds move across, which is nice. But then interrupted by this creature falling through. Knocking things out in the landscape. Okay, so yeah, that works. And then I know how to fine-tune it at the end. So then I hit Tab again to get my tools back. I hit Stop on the timeline. I select all of the timeline frames. Now there are 21 of them for 21 layers that I've made. And I move them to the trash, and then I'm going to turn off the timeline. Okay, this was my last layer right there. Turn it on so I can see it. This is my assets. I'm ready to build my next layer, and that's going to be a lot of these character frames. I'm going to duplicate this guy. And let's use another color. Let's use magenta. That's too similar. Let's use violet. Okay. And now I'm going to make this one really, really big for this cupcake in the front. And I'm going to puppet warp him. Just angle his anatomy a little bit. Move his foot. Move his wing. Move his head. Maybe just his whole posture a little. Right, hit return. So now I got this big guy. He's all of a sudden going to drop in. And duplicate him. And I'm going to go back. Actually, I'm not going to duplicate him. I'm going to go back to, let's see, my first use here. Duplicate that one. Move it up above. And this one's going to drop on these ice cream cones in the middle here. All right, and then what's the other one I need? I wanted 3. I need 1 to take out that cupcake right there. So I'm going to duplicate the red. And this one's going to be about halfway down, like this. And I'll just regular transform, not puppet warp, but just regular warp a little bit. So it feels different. And maybe just a little bit bigger. All right, so this is the next frame. And I'm going to have a special effect. I'm going to duplicate it wherever they make contact, right? So I'm going to make that bigger right here. And flip it horizontally. Mark it as yellow. So that's my next frame, but I haven't moved the clouds. It's going to be weird if I don't move the clouds because I've been doing that pretty consistently. And then playing with the opacity a little bit. Just flickering it. So, Command O to center everything, right? And now I can see that's a big change all of a sudden. So now hold down Option, Layer, Merge Visible. Remember I was already selected on the topmost visible layer. Command A to select it all. Command C to copy it. Go to the stage. Command V, paste it in. Boom. Command S to save the stage. Back. Command D to deselect. And then delete to delete that merged layer. Move the clouds a little bit more. Play with the opacity. And now I'm going to take all of these creatures, because they all have to move at the same rate, all these violet ones, and I'm going to hold down Shift and move them down, but they actually don't all move at the same rate. Ha! Because the ones in front, that's why they have to be separate layers, is going to move faster than the others. So I'm just going to see just the littlest bit of him. Maybe just his ears. And then this guy will move, whoop, not that guy. This guy. Move a little bit slower, like so. Right? And so I'm going to make a duplicate of this effect. The yellow, move it over here. It's where he's hitting the ice cream. Going to flip it horizontal or vertical rather, and shrink it a little. Little impact blast. Okay, and now I'm going to move all of these foreground elements. Right? First, this cupcake's just gone. Next, this one needs to move down. So I'm going to duplicate it. Mark it violet if I ever need to rebuild these frames. And then move it down. And then the ice cream cones should stay where they are because he hasn't made contact quite yet. Okay, now Command 0 to center it. Make sure I moved those clouds. Yeah, feels like I did. Okay, go to my topmost visible layer. Some of my most complicated frames yet. Hold down Option, say Layer Merge Visible. Command A, Command C, and then go to my stage, paste it in. Big change will feel like a big drop. Save it. And it's important to be able to rebuild all of these. That's why I make duplicates, so that if I feel like I need to slow it down, I can. Deselect, delete the merged frames, move the clouds, restart them. There we go. And now, let's see. Don't need this guy anymore. Now these two, duplicate, give a different color, and move them down. Think like that. Get rid of the cupcake. And then these, duplicate the ice cream cones and move those down. Oops, too far. And then get rid of or turn off these guys. All right, now the special effect, duplicate it. A little impact blast, it moves to here. And flip it. Flipping horizontal is a good way to make things shimmer, especially like things like water or ice glinting. And so now this, Command 0 to center it. That's my next frame. And what do? I go to my topmost visible layer, hold down Option, say Layer, Merge Visible. Command A, Command C, go to my stage, Command V, paste it in. And now I am almost to my last frame of my rough storyboard. Good. Save that, save my stage. I've built 4 frames since I did my last animation test. Deselect on the assets, delete the merged layer. And now I'm just going to turn these guys off. But I need to move that background. Remember, that happens. All right. And then I got to move the clouds. Play with their opacity. Option, Layer, Merge Visible. Command A, Command C, paste to stage. Save. Deselect on the assets, delete the merged layer, move the clouds. Play with the opacity. Option, Layer, Merge Visible. Up. Nope, not yet. Because I also need to shift this back up. There we go. Now, Option, Layer, Merge Visible. All these subtleties will really make a difference in the playback of the animation. Like if I never moved that land back up, you wouldn't be able to tell in a storyboard, but you would be able to tell as it played in animation. Command A, Command C, click on the stage. Command V, paste it in. You see that little wobble as all the stuff gets pushed out. And now I just need to make the clouds move. And then Option, Layer, Merge Visible. Command A, Command C, paste on the stage. Save it. Command D, deselect, delete the merged layer, move the clouds. Play with the opacity. Option, Layer, Merge Visible. Command A, Command C, click on stage. 2, 3. So I want 2 more before I start setting it to reset. And I am starting to get bored with it, especially moving these clouds, but it will make a difference. That's why we do this, so you can see if you like time-based media or not, or if you find it arduous.